a lot of our postpartum information is run and given by men. Ooh, was that shade? And oop. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Amira Mazimoyo, the Brazen Goddess, and today I'm bringing y'all another video. We're gonna be talking about postpartum fitness struggles, y'all, because it's such a serious issue and it's something that I feel I've struggled with personally, women in my community have struggled with personally, and I know that a lot of you all have probably also had the same experience. I've broken postpartum fitness as far as the fat loss struggles down into 5 categories that could be some of the culprits when it comes to it, but I definitely would suggest and encourage you to reach out to your midwife or your physician or your doctor and really kind of get some maybe testing done or get some insight as to what it could be for you personally. The five categories that I've broken it down to is hormonal issues or imbalances, exercise, sleep, diet, and stress. And I'm gonna start kind of with my experience so you can see how all of those factors have played a role. So let me tell you, like, from the beginning. I got married in 2014. I got married in 2015. So that was the year that I got pregnant the first time. Now, the first time I ever got pregnant, I actually had a miscarriage. And so that kind of left my hormones already a little bit imbalanced. And then I got pregnant with my son and I breastfed him for 13 months. And so during most of that 13-month period, I want to say maybe about, excuse me, hush your mouth. I want to say about 10 months of that 13-month period of breastfeeding my son, I had no cycle, and that's pretty normal. As far as hormonally, when you're breastfeeding, that's pretty normal, right? Most people, they don't have a cycle. But one thing that I found out was that it was extremely hard for me to lose fat, and I'll show you like a few pictures. And kind of where I started pre-pregnancy, and then during this time period, like, I tried everything, y'all. I tried Sixpack programs. I tried Insanity, BeachBody Insanity for two full months. I tried high intensity interval training, shorter workouts. I tried weight training. I tried less training. I tried more training. I tried less calories. I tried more calories. I tried everything, and it was so hard for me to lose fat. And my typical weight before pregnancy was like 130, between 130 and 134, and I couldn't gain weight to save my life back then, right? But then after I had him, I was at 150 and I could not lose a pound. I mean to tell you that when I was doing Insanity, I was working out 6 days out of the week, and I was sweating like crazy. Each workout I was giving 125%. I was eating a good amount of protein. I was like really kind of trying to cut carbs and stuff like that, and it just like nothing worked. And of course, when you're breastfeeding too, you do have to maintain a certain amount of calories. So I'm sure I could have done it like in a very aggressive way and lost weight, but of course I would have probably lost a lot of my milk supply as well. So also during that time, I was had him. He didn't sleep through the night until he was done breastfeeding. So he didn't sleep through the night at all during this period. So I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. My exercise changed a lot, but during most of that period, I was like kind of switch up, trying to see what my body liked. So I guess to say I also wasn't very consistent in that regard, just trying to see what will work for me. I was sleeping a few hours a night, you know, and I wasn't getting full rest in any night. And then as far as my diet, I am vegan, and I'm not really sure how that played a role. I could say that my typical diet, I do eat like a nice amount of carbohydrates. So I don't know if that just for my body type at that time just wasn't working out. But I was also stressed out. I was working full time, new baby, you know, just trying to adjust to my new identity as a woman, as a, you know, wife, as a mother, and we just had a lot going on. We were also trying to get more custody of my stepson, my son Zuri, and so we were going through a battle with that as well. And then we ended up getting full, complete custody of him. So during that time, I had 1-year-old, we got full custody of him, and then I got pregnant again. Okay, so your girl was like going through a lot at that time. And good things, you know, but it was still a lot of adjusting to do in a short period of time. So we had all that going on. I got pregnant with my daughter, and then my body went haywire. Yeah, I'm talking about you, little mama. My body went haywire pregnant with her, and I don't know if it's because she was a girl or just because I had two prior pregnancies in the last year. I don't know. You know, I don't know if it was my hormones were crazy or what, but I was extremely nauseous and tired. Like, I could barely get out of the bed. I would sleep for 3 hours during the day and still be tired, sleep fully through the night. Like, I was so tired, and I was, I could barely eat. I had lost a lot of weight. I lost like 20 pounds or so during my pregnancy, at the beginning of my pregnancy. And then it was just like, it was a really stressful pregnancy, honestly. And so I actually started having contractions very early with her, and to the point where my midwife was concerned, I was concerned, my husband was concerned, and we all just kind of spent so much energy praying on me and on the baby, like, you know, stay healthy, you know, come out when you are fully healthy and developed and ready to come out, you know. I had a fully natural home birth with my son, wanted to do the same thing, but I was just like so concerned, like, you know, what is going on? So I was very healthy. However, I don't know, she was just busy. So she ended up coming a month early. Little Miss Busybody. She ended up coming a month early, and with that, that actually was, you know, good compared to when we thought that she was gonna come. So yeah, she's a busybody. That it really fits her personality, the fact that she was so bothersome. And I gotta keep it real on this channel, okay? So anyway, so during that time, I mean, it was like I said, a pretty stressful pregnancy. My womb went through a lot, and afterwards I really had to take the time to sit my behind down and recover. But I also found that after having her, I had a cycle almost immediately, and I thought that was weird. But then I started having a cycle every 2 weeks, and definitely thought that was weird. Every 2 weeks, let me tell you, that was like, that was rough. And I was just very tired all the time. You okay? Okay. So almost immediately after having my daughter, I started having a cycle every 2 weeks. Yeah, every 2 weeks. And so that was very stressful, and I was tired all the time. I was just very exhausted, and I kind of had to switch up a lot of things I was doing as far as my exercise and my diet. As far as my exercise and diet goes, I really had to switch some things up because I just did not have the energy, and I also realized that something was going on hormonally with me. With this postpartum period, I started exercising a little bit later because I realized that with my first pregnancy that I jumped into it too soon, and I could tell that I jumped into it too soon. With this one, I really wanted to make sure I was a little bit more knowledgeable, and I really wanted to make sure that my core was strong. So I'll show you kind of what postpartum belly wrap I was wearing, and then also I wanted to make sure my pelvic floor was strong. So I really did focus on those exercises like Kegels and stuff like that. And then I also really eased into exercising. I definitely started with body weight for a few months, and then I got into the weights probably about, let's see, she was born in June, so I got into weights probably about September. There is a hormone in our body when we're breastfeeding that's called prolactin, and there are also a lot of other hormones that play a role in breastfeeding and fat loss. And when it comes down to it, the body is a primordial being, right? It's still built on instinct. So when you're feeding a baby and you're trying to keep a baby alive from your own body, your body is sending signals to preserve fat, and you're preserving fat stores so that if there's any type of famine or anything like that, you can use those fat stores to still produce milk for your baby. So that's one of the biggest reasons why it's hard to lose fat while you're breastfeeding. I found that with a lot of women, my mother included, she said this as well. She said that she always got fluffy while she was breastfeeding. She said that she always found that she got fluffy while she was breastfeeding, and that once she stopped breastfeeding, she immediately started to trim down without doing anything extra. And so it's like a huge thing that I didn't know was a thing. Like, I did tons of just research. Come this way. Come. Okay, so that's one of the main things I want you to understand, is that our body is made to do this. And I'm not sure if you would have the same type of situation if you were not breastfeeding, but I've noticed a trend in most postpartum women is that it's very hard for you to lose fat in that period unless you're a very naturally thin woman. But based on my research, there are many different types of hormones that are all related to breastfeeding, and a lot of them do slow or hinder fat loss in that time period. I included a lot more water, and then I also included more plant-based carbohydrates rather than processed carbohydrates. And so a lot of, like, I didn't cut out carbohydrates at all in any means, and I probably still got in the same amount, but I got it through quinoa, brown rice, you know, just like a sweet potato or even a yellow potato or a red potato or whatever. And by doing that, I think that's a lot easier for the body to process. And then a lot of those things are more low glycemic, so they're not just constantly spiking our insulin up in a huge roller coaster. It's a lot more of a gradual incline and decline of our insulin levels. Having to put out high amounts of insulin to process certain foods does cause stress on the body, and stress hinders fat loss. So my logic behind that was that I would include more plant-based carbohydrates. Like during the week, I may eat bread one time, if that. During the week, I might eat pasta one time, and that's about it. Like, you know, in the past, I was eating, like, I make like homemade bread and flatbread and all kinds of stuff, and I would eat it with soup like every day for lunch. And I would, if I made a pasta, I would make a big pot of pasta so that we could have it for lunch. Like, I'm eating it every day, you know what I'm saying? So I've changed those things, and that's been the biggest thing that I've changed. And it's made a huge difference on just really me being able to build muscle, me being able to just have less stress in my body, me being able to deal with stress better, and also just me being able to kind of see the results of my exercise a lot better. So this time I'll show you some pictures. I have been able to lose fat considerably better. I think that I've really been able to lose more fat this time and really kind of do the body recomposition that I want and get some of the results that I want because I've taken the time to address my hormones through diet and through just patience, y'all, patience. I've done also some herbal blends, and I'll share those with you in a future video. And some of those herbal blends really did kind of help to space out my cycles. It took, I want to say, it had to take until, I'll go back in my tracking, but I'm pretty sure it took until like April, and her birthday's in June, for my cycles to space out to a normal 28-day or so cycle. So healthy hormone levels are huge when it comes to fat loss. It's almost like a lot of our postpartum help, a lot of our postpartum information is run and given by men. Ooh, was that shade? And a lot of the information given is from men, and we look at it in a very masculine way. And I'm not shading men at all, but I'm just saying that, yes, I'm not shading men at all, but I am saying that it's something that we as women have to take over again and really have to embrace and re-empower ourselves when it comes to postpartum period, because there's so much that we go through that there's not really an explanation for, there's not a medication for, there's no information or articles, there are not a lot of studies out here, there's a lot of inconclusive evidence, there's just so much that we don't know about the postpartum period. And when we really take over and re-empower ourselves when it comes to that postpartum period, I think that we'll be able to put the spirituality and the emotional literacy back into, what's going on during that time. And it is really a rite of passage, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And I think that when that's not addressed, that's why we have a lot of instances of postpartum depression and just like postpartum negativity and just all kind of stuff. We don't really have a society that is supportive of this period. So like I said, we need to re-empower ourselves. There's nothing that someone else can do for us. Like, we have to do it. If you do need some help going through your diet and really just combing through everything, combing through your daily lifestyle and your daily routine to see what it is that you need to do to address your hormones, I'm not a hormone specialist, but I am a fitness specialist, and I do tons of research when it comes to postpartum fitness and postpartum mental health. And I love to help you with that. I am a coach, and I basically go through everything that you do. I go through your exercise routine, your eating routine, and everything. And I help you to kind of set up a plan to help you to lose fat, but also to kind of just regain a sense of a better normalcy when it comes to your life postpartum, because you have so much on your plate. You need something to be easy to do, right? It's easy to understand. But that's really what I wanted to talk to y'all about today, guys. Self-care is a huge part of just maintaining your peace in your postpartum period. And when I say postpartum, I don't mean like 6 weeks after having a baby. Postpartum literally means after birth. So if you've ever given birth to a baby, you are postpartum. Stay focused on the fact that it's not about me looking a certain way. It's more so about me feeling a certain way about myself and balancing things that I can't see and that others can't see either. Really having that internal harmony is my main fitness goal right now. And so that's been a huge shift for me in my focus. Now that may change, but right now just kind of healing and recovering from that period of, 3 pregnancies in 2 years, like, it's huge. And so it can really take a toll on the body. And just me realizing that, I was able to give myself a lot of grace. So don't ever forget to give yourself grace. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because you're coming back for more, sis. You are. And I really feel like we are building a community here. We're talking back and forth about a lot of different things in the comments, and that's really cool to me. Also, I've met a few of you on other platforms, and I'm just so excited to kind of start opening up discussions and conversations about certain things that this society does not teach. We don't learn this in school. We don't learn this like at the bus stop, okay? So I want to create a safe place for us to really come and share our experiences and our stories, because we don't really have another platform to do so. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Peace, y'all.